My name is Roger Moe, and I am honored to be chair of the Board of Trustees for the Minnesota State College and University System. And let me begin by asking my colleagues on the Board of Trustees to please stand. Would the member of the Board of Trustees? Thank you. Thank you. And to President Bodine and the Hennepin Technical College community, thank you for hosting this event as well as hosting us for our board meetings over the next couple of days. The board is committed to attending events like this on the various campuses because it gives us a firsthand account of all of the things that are going on, all of the great things that are going on our colleges and university campuses. And so, again, thank you so much, President, for hosting us here today. It's fitting that we are here in this space to reflect on Minnesota State's strong commitment to growing talent in our communities. It is also fitting that we hear today from Hennepin Tech's former student, Scott Olson, about the important work our campuses do in every part of Minnesota. Okay, he only attended one class here. Everything about today's event is about the work that Minnesota State does with our community partners, the strength of our faculty, staff, campus and system leadership team to deliver on the expectations that the governor, the legislators, and business and community leaders have for us to strengthen Minnesota's economy. We're so pleased that we have the governor here with us today, and I just want to add something. I was with the governor earlier this afternoon at an entirely different kind of event. And his questions all through the hour and 20 minutes we were together with this company was about education. Where do you get your workforce? What kind of backgrounds do they need? And he focused purely on our education system, and we really appreciate that. We're also thrilled to have our partners from the legislature that lead the higher education committees. I understand Senator Fateh was not able to make it, but our friend Gene Pawlowski from the House of Representatives is here. Gene, thank you. I believe there's a couple of others. I saw Representative Dean Erdahl and Senator Kerry Dietzich, Majority Leader of the Senate. And I would really be remiss if I didn't acknowledge another former legislator, somebody that I worked with for many years, and a great legislator, but also holds the record as the longest serving legislator in Minnesota's history, Lynn Carlson. And his wife Carol is with him, and she put up with him all those years that he was in the legislature. So thank you. I want all of the policymakers to know that we appreciate your service and are committed to being your partner in this very important work. I'd like to acknowledge the business and community leaders who are here with us today. Thank you for your effort. Only together can we continue to build and support the state's economic engine. To do this work, we know that partnerships is critical to the success of our communities and the students we serve. It is now my pleasure to introduce someone that is a champion of public higher education and someone that all of us at Minnesota State call a friend, Governor Tim Walz.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Chairman, thank you to the trustees of the State College System. Thank you for all of you do. This is one on just a note of personal privilege that I would not miss for Chancellor Olson. We sometimes joke about this. I have known him longer than I've been in elected office. He was at my son's baptism, I think, if I remember right, and we go way back. And I say that of someone who's commitment to this state, commitment to their community, whether it was the community of Mankato where we got to know each other or spent a lot of time in Winona and reaching across the state. To the folks here at this great institution, it's awesome to feel this. You can feel the energy. To the staff and students, we're incredibly proud of what you're doing. You can feel the energy. You can feel the future. You can see democracy happening right outside our door. That's good. That's good. These are healthy. These are healthy conversations of where the state is going, and that's what we're here to do. We're so proud of this system. Many of us in this room, myself included, received our education through this system, and I could not be prouder. We're one of the largest systems in the country, I believe the third largest. We stretch from Ely to Worthington, and that provides opportunity for Minnesotans no matter where they live or where they come from. And the commitment of the system to continue to adapt, to provide what's needed, to do what Chairman Moe was talking about, when our businesses know that one of the biggest challenges we have right now is where do we find a workforce? How do we get them qualified? How do we get them in? And to show our students, I was today with a group of Indigenous students earlier, excited about the Minnesota Promise and the things they can do of attending our institutions across this state. It's an exciting time. And all of that comes with visionary leadership. Chancellor Olson, you're filling big shoes. Chancellor Mahatra put out a vision, one that included everyone, one that included inclusion of each and every one of us. Well, I've known you for those decades, and that's the air you breathe. That's what you've done, and you've brought results to every place you've been at. And at this time in our state's history, we're at an inflection point, an opportunity to prepare for the future. In Minnesota parlance, we want to get ready to skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it is. And it's these institutions that get us there where we're going. So Chancellor, Katie, Kelly, the whole family, thank you for your commitment to Minnesota. Congratulations. You've certainly earned the trust. And to the search committee, I've recently had some experience with this. Good job choosing the right one. So well, congratulations. Chancellor, we wish you all the best. Thanks so much. Thank you.
So I want to welcome everyone to Hennepin Technical College. It is always the funnest part of my job to have people come into our labs to see what students are doing and learning along the way. So I want to especially thank our cabinet making and our woodworking students and carpentry students, because all week they've been buffing and shining and vacuuming up sawdust. And our culinary students, from their first semester to their fourth semester, they are preparing hors d'oeuvres that I hope you delight in later this evening. But today, we are here about celebrating a wonderful chancellor and his inauguration. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, all of the presidents, the employees throughout the state, and the students throughout the state, thank you for the privilege of letting us be a part of this event on a campus. And for our past and current legislators, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your dedication to workforce at our college, where our mission is education for employment. Every day we strive to put students to work like we do at every campus. And it is because of your workforce development scholarships and your additional leveraged equipment that next fall we are putting a plumbing program over there. And we're also so proud because it's allowing us to expand throughout the whole system, high demand, high salary programs to help keep our community strong. But I have the biggest privilege tonight, and that is to introduce an amazing faculty member at our campus. Brad Thorpe teaches in our robotics and mechatronics program. And most of our faculty, they come from industry, but Brad is unique. He wanted to be in education, and he strived to be a teacher. So I'm excited. We're celebrating his 20th year in teaching this year. And him and his coworker, Jeff, they have had a vision for many years. They wanted to expand the robotics program to our Brooklyn Park campus because they knew that they would hit a diverse market for all of those students who didn't have transportation to our South campus in Eden Prairie. And because they took the time to write an NSF grant, because of the additional legislative funding, and because of their work with their industry partners, we were able to open that this fall. And so we're really excited. But there are times when Brad's not here. So the fun things he does when he's outside of campus, he is very involved with Scouts. He loves to fish, and he loves spending time at his cabin with his wife and 3 kids. Please welcome Brad Thorpe.
Well, I hope this goes a little bit quicker than my 2-minute demo earlier today that ended up being 15 minutes, so try and keep it brief. Thank you, Joy, for being our president. Thank you for doing the great job that you do for our college, the leadership you give us and provide us, and the dedication and knowledge you have of what our students and staff needs and valuable. So thank you, Joy. Thank you, Board of Trustees, presidents from other parts of the system, staff, people from staff from the system office for visiting and taking time to come to our college, see the great things that we do here at Hennepin Tech for our students, staff, and faculty. Thank you, legislators. We appreciate the funding that you've been able to support the colleges with. And at the Technical College, we really appreciate the funds you put towards us with workforce scholarships, like Joy was saying, and the leverage equipment and Perkins fundings has been invaluable for us to expand programs and to keep them up to speed with what technology does. Thank you, Chancellor, for bringing all these great people to see what we do here at the campus. We appreciate that. And then to our faculty, thank you for all that you do for our students. Thank you for your commitment to providing quality education to our students. Thank you for providing hands-on and face-to-face instruction throughout the pandemic, because that is what the students and our industry partners needed from us at the Technical College. So welcome everybody to Hennepin Technical College. It's a great place. I love this. It smells like my garage. No cars go in there. I love woodworking, so welcome here. As I was thinking, Joy said, would you speak? I was like, sure. I was trying to think about what ties us all together, and I realized we all have one thing in common. We work to make people's lives better, right? And what a great job that is. That's what we're here for. That's what you all do day in and day out. So thank you for that. The program I teach in is Automation, Robotics, Engineering, Technology. We picked a bunch of cool words, put them together, right? It's a great way to advertise. If I said Mechatronics on the street, most people wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But with that, we offer a huge variety of great careers leaving the program that we have. And our students learn a bunch of different skill sets. So they do electrical, they do programming, they learn how to do mechanical systems, and then they get to play with some robots once in a while. With this, they also have a huge amount of different careers they can go into with that skill set. They can become people that fix automated equipment. They can build it from scratch. They can go into technical sales. They can work for something called a robotic integrator. They can also specialize in the areas that we teach in with the electrical and programming and those other subject areas. That's just the start of career pathways for them. After that, they can start looking at what to focus on in manufacturing and choose different sectors in that, such as food, beverage, semiconductors, medical, automotive, aerospace. The opportunities are endless on the different areas of manufacturing they can go into. Then they get to start out with wonderful pay, leaving this 2-year institution. And this is comparable and exceeds some of the 4-year college degrees in similar areas. So we have a number of companies now that start at $35 an hour for people with no experience. So that's $70,000 a year for a 2-year degree. That's a phenomenal opportunities for those people. And then just a quick side note, that's more than our beginning instructors get for salary. So I was sharing all these great opportunities. One time I talked to a lot of high school groups that come through, and I give the pitch that I just gave there, talk about all the wonderful things with our program. And I had two nice young ladies in the front, and they said, "So what's the catch?" I was like, wow, good question. Usually I'm met with silence, and I was like, let me think about that for a minute. I was like, I want you to be here. That's the reason that you should take my program. Not for the money. If the career is of interest, great. But you need to want to be here. And that's really it. There is no catch. So when I look at what we do in technical education here at Hennepin Technical College, it makes me proud. There are a few options that people can choose to better their lives with that will result in change and success as quickly as getting a 2-year technical degree. These careers will give them better pay, a sense of satisfaction in their work, careers that can grow and change throughout life, and the return on investment for technical education not only is for the individual, but it's for our state as a whole. We all benefit from these jobs. One of the many different points of pride that I have with Hennepin Technical College is the fact that our graduates can leave debt-free or with very little debt. And the ways that my program does that, and many other programs here at Hennepin Tech do that, is through apprenticeships, internships, and we have lots of different ways to earn as you learn, which allows our students to graduate with very little debt. I believe so strongly in these opportunities that my 17-year-old son will be joining my program in another year, and he's on track to get signed up for some of the apprenticeship options that we have through our program. He's excited about it, and I've been talking to him for a while. I also preference it saying, I don't want to hear 2 years from now that was forced on you. It's completely up to you. I want you to be here. And then another fun side note is he wants to come teach with me someday, so that's really fun. We meet our students where they need us by offering a variety of start times for our courses that fit into their work, life, and school schedule. They're just trying to make it ends meet, and we do what we can here. We teach courses from the ground up. In my program, we teach them what the name of the tool is. We teach them the basic concepts, and then we eventually send them out the door knowing how to program complicated automated machines. It's pretty amazing. Our students come to us from many walks of life. We provide a great education that they need. They may be a high school student fresh out of high school looking for their first career. They may be a 40-year-old that's looking for their second or third career option, and we provide it to all of those. We have students come into this campus from all over the world speaking many different languages, and it's a really great opportunity to see them strive to get a better life and one that pays them well. So I'm proud that of all that we do for our students, not just in my program, but all the awesome programs here at Hennepin Technical College. Our faculty do amazing jobs to fill the need of our economy for skilled workers in a huge variety of fields. That's what we do. So I'm a teacher, and you're here with me in school. Anybody know where this one's going? So I'm really hard-pressed not to give you an assignment. So, and then this assignment's a really easy one because you get to choose how you're going to do it or what you're going to deliver. But my homework to you is to figure out how you can help our system, how you can help our faculty. And in the end, no matter what type of help that you give us, helps the students. And that's why we're here. So join me in helping make our students' lives better with the decisions you make going forward. So thank you for your time. And then next up is our student speaker. So Michael Engstrom is from Lindstrom, Minnesota, and currently lives in St. Paul. Michael is going to school for landscape design and construction. Michael is currently the president of Student Senate, vice president of photosynthesis, and does work study for student experience. So he's really busy. And then for some of his hobbies, he does crocheting, camping, and gardening. So we got to hang out sometime. Welcome to the stage, Michael. There you go.
Hello, all. It is great to. We good? Oh, perfect. Awesome. Hello, all. It's great to see our staff members, faculty, as well as members of the general community, and welcome to the Hennepin Technical College's Brooklyn Park campus. A special welcome to Chancellor Olson. To see a leader of our student system start their educational career here at Hennepin Tech and still have the respect to visit the campus again after so many successes is a great honor and fills us all with pride. Welcome to the Board of Trustees, and thank you all for your support, and I look forward to building bridges of connection with LEADM N in my role as President of Student Senate. Thank you all, the legislators in the room, for the amazing funding for workforce programs that you provided to Hennepin Tech. The scholarships and funding for technical education allows us to expand into new program areas and disciplines. My name is Michael Engstrom. I am a second-year student here at Hennepin Tech, and I will be majoring with an associate's in applied science degree in landscape design and construction. Like the majority of the students here at Hennepin Tech, I am already working in the field using the education I received from my program. I am also the president of the Brooklyn Park Student Senate, vice president of the photosynthesizers, and a working member of our student experience team. Since coming back to campus, the other student leaders and I have tried to maximize student engagement and collaboration of our campus clubs. We hope to empower our student body in the pursuit of progressive change on campus. For example, we are in the process of developing a food pantry with the support of students, donors, and the legislature. Being a student in 2023 is difficult with the increasing costs of living, ever-increasing competition in many of the fields we are striving for, and living in a post-pandemic era. Any supports that are provided to us go a long way to making sure we are successful on campus and later in our careers. Hennepin Tech drew me in with its amazing program and location. I toured the greenhouses and met some of the leadership on campus and knew that it was the place for me. You should go see the greenhouses. They're awesome. We have like 4 downstairs, or like down, like there's like a hill that you go down, and it's like 4 of them, and then there we have one on top. It's just for like, we used to have tropical plants in there. We would like more again. But anyway, yeah. So Hennepin Tech's community of support, academic ties to careers, and so many like-minded students, staff, and faculty will help me find an amazing career in horticulture field after I graduate. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk a little bit about Chancellor Olson. Prior to his appointment as Chancellor, Dr. Scott Olson served as president of the Winona State University, Minnesota from 2012 to 2023. Shout out to my partner, Kate Hansen, Winona State graduate 2021. So thank you so much. Under Dr. Olson's leadership and through the hard work of the faculty, staff, and administration, Winona State earned a reputation for academic excellence and became known for delivering high rates of student success. Throughout his 20-year career in the Minnesota state system, Chancellor Olson has been a leader in major strategic initiatives, including development of the Centers of Excellence, Transfer Pathways, Next Gen, and Equity 2030. He is an advocate for both system-level solutions and the need for campus autonomy to meet local needs. Chancellor Olson is also known as a strong advocate for advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Under his leadership at Winona State, the university increased enrollment of students of color by 95%, cut outcome gaps almost in half, and achieved the highest success rates of students of color among the colleges and universities of Minnesota State. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Scott Olson to the podium.
That's great. Thank you, Michael. It was there from the beginning, there in the firmament, shining, twinkling brightly in the dark, before there were even eyes to see it. It was there in the firmament. The first animals came, and maybe they looked up, but they didn't notice how unique it was. Maybe a little bear looked up, a minor Ursa, and saw it, and didn't know what that little bear was seeing. The Ojibwe Anishinaabe came. The Osheti Shakoween came. And they did notice there was something special, something marvelous about the heavens. The Lakota called it Wichapi Owanzala, the star that sits still. The Vikings called it the guiding star. Shakespeare called it the constant northern star. No matter how dark it got, it was there, reflected in the waters of the Mississippi, the waters of Bede-Makaska, the waters of Mille Lacs and the boundary waters. It stayed constant as the waters rose and fell, flowed and changed, waves came and went, ever changing. Heraclitus said, the ancient Greek philosopher said, you can never step in the same river twice because you will have changed and the river will have changed. And Minnesota today is not the Minnesota from the days of that original Minnesota miracle. Minnesota has changed. Now, our destination has remained constant. A thriving Minnesota, a prosperous Minnesota, an inclusive and equitable and welcoming Minnesota. This will forever be the shining light of Minnesota State. But our route to the star has been fluid, ever-changing. Minnesota has a dynamic population with new Minnesotans adding energy and new ideas and new opportunities, a beautiful diversity that makes us strong. Minnesota's economy has become increasingly dynamic and fluid and flexible and diverse. So for Minnesota State, we bring new and responsive programs calibrated to the changing needs of our many partners, some of whom are here today, the businesses, the manufacturers, the schools, the nonprofits, the healthcare providers, and the communities we all serve. The star is what we promise. Equity 2030. So it shouldn't matter if you're the first in your family to go to college. It shouldn't matter if you grew up in a poor household. It shouldn't matter if you're a person of color. The pathway to your hopes and dreams should be the same. And we call this Equity 2030, and it's a commitment on the part of our board, on the part of our presidents, on the part of our bargaining unit leaders, on the part of our campuses, to close any gap that there might be between those who are the first in their family to go to college and those whose families have gone to college for 5 generations, from those who grow up in poor families and from those who grow up in the richest families, for those who are students of color or those who are white. None of that should matter in Minnesota State's colleges and universities, and that's what Equity 2030 is all about. And if we don't do it, if Minnesota State does not do this, who will? Do you realize, those of you, the Minnesota State folks know this, but for those of you who are guests here, did you know that the Minnesota State system, the number of students of color served by the Minnesota State colleges and universities, that number is larger than the total number of students served by the University of Minnesota system and all the private colleges in Minnesota. Minnesota State students of color outnumber the entire enrollment of everybody else in Minnesota. So if we don't do it, who's going to do it? We're the ones to do it. Well, right. We are the ones to do it. And we're the ones to do affordability. We're the ones to make college the hopes and dreams within reach. And I couldn't be more grateful to Representative Pawlowski, who's here today, more grateful to Senator Fateh, who chairs the Senate Higher Ed Committee, and their committees and all the legislators who worked on this. I cannot thank you enough for freezing tuition for 2 years. I cannot thank you enough for the North Star Promise, which says that if your family earns less than $80,000, college is free. That's... So this North Star Promise, it's an amazing thing. And we're working hard to complement it with the Minnesota State Promise. And the Minnesota State Promise builds on the North Star promise and makes college even more affordable by extending that promise, working with our communities, working with our foundations, so that 80,000 may not be the cutoff, that the cutoff is higher and higher, and so everybody has a shot at higher education. And I thank the legislature for supporting basic needs. You know, the students we serve today, that changing dynamic Minnesota, the students we serve today are not like the students we served when this wonderful institution was founded some 51 years ago. Minnesota's changing, and we have a duty, we have an obligation to serve the basic needs of our students, to ensure that food scarcity, hunger, mental health access none of that is a barrier to the ability to come to one of our colleges and universities and be a student and be a part of the dream of participating in Minnesota's economy. So I want to thank all the legislators, past and present. We have many past and present legislators. 3 of them serve on our Board of Trustees. I want to thank them for everything they've done to get us to this point. I want to thank the legislators who are watching. Thank you for everything you've done to get us to this point. Minnesota's prosperity relies on this. Opening up pathways for everybody to participate. That's that guiding star. The waters are the journey that we take, changing and fluid. You know, the land here in Minnesota was always fertile and plentiful, well shepherded then and now by the first peoples of Minnesota. The Mississippi River was the route to Minnesota's second and third wave of prosperity. First, the lumber that floated down that river. And as the, carpentry lab around us here, all this woodworking reminds us that wood, was an important first thing in Minnesota's establishment, its economy. And then later, milling, the wonderful fertile land that produced the wonderful grain that fed the world. All of that was Minnesota. The new waterways are digital. High-tech, fluid pathways, no need to portage. So NextGen, this project we're working on so that every student holds in the palm of their hand the tools that they need to navigate the complexities of higher ed. And they can what if, and they can change, and they can grow, and they can make other choices, and navigate their way through as efficiently as possible. We call that NextGen. The power of the future in the palms of their hands. There's room for disagreement. I love peaceful protest. My favorite days on college campuses was when there was active debate and disagreement, as we have today. I think it's great. It's great. And honestly, in this world, if we can't model how to disagree, have discussions and debates in a peaceful, civil, respectful way, as we see today, right here, if we can't do that, what hope is there for this world full of hate, full of violence, and full of division? Higher ed has to be the beacon of how to have these debates and discussions in a way that in the end we can shake hands, we can have good solutions, and we can move on. Yeah. I'm going to put in a plug here. If you want to see democracy in action, we got it in, as the governor said, we have it in action today at Hennepin Tech. If you, at the end of November, come down to Winona, watch the model legislature in action, and see young people learn how democracy works. And a year from now, go to Metro State and watch the Twin Cities folks make democracy work. Right. I'm sure they're cheering for the model legislature. That's awesome. Things like this are not easy. Devinder Malhotra, my predecessor, he used to talk about Equity 2030 as our moonshot, and he wasn't wrong about that. To paraphrase John F. Kennedy, we choose to journey to the North Star, not because it's easy, but because it's hard, because our goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because our challenge is one we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. That's what Equity 2030 represents. That's what our system represents. That's what affordability represents. That's what serving basic needs represents. We are unwilling to postpone it. We are going to do this. In fulfilling the hopes and dreams of our students, we build Minnesota's workforce. As students pursue it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. As students pursue their hopes and dreams, they pour the foundation for Minnesota's future. Them pursuing their hopes and dreams. They're rational actors. They're making choices that will be the future of Minnesota and its prosperity. Hopers and dreamers, hard workers, gritty overcomers of adversity. The more you know our students, the more you know the future of Minnesota is secure. Anybody that works on a campus knows this. And for those of you who don't get to work with today's students, you're missing out because they're amazing. They're amazing. They are so smart. They are so determined. And they are going to build a bright and great future for Minnesota. And we, all of us that work in Minnesota State, we are blessed. We are blessed to work with them. You know, it's all around us, right? The carpentry students who built these tiny homes, the culinary students back there that are preparing the meal we're about to enjoy, the plumbing that's coming in next semester, is that right? Or next year, we're going to have plumbing in here. So these things actually will have running water at that point, I guess. It's good to have in a tiny home. Overwhelmingly, our system prepares Minnesota to prosper. The colleges and universities of Minnesota State prepare nearly half of Minnesota's teachers and half of Minnesota's business people and half of its agricultural workers. We prepare 60% of Minnesota's nurses. We prepare more than 2/3 of Minnesota's tradespeople. We prepare 90% of Minnesota's peace officers and mechanics and manufacturing employees. We are Minnesota's workforce. We are that workforce. We build that workforce, and we are that workforce, and Minnesota needs every one of those graduates for Minnesota to be what Minnesota dreams of becoming. We do this through nearly 4,000 different programs across Minnesota State designed to serve the local needs of the businesses and industries of the region they serve. That's why our system is as diverse as it is. Each campus is so well attuned to what the needs of its community are and serving those needs beautifully. And by that, serving the region, serving the state, serving the world. Our system has an $8 billion with a B, an $8 billion impact every year on the Minnesota economy. And my aside to the legislators who are here, we think we're a pretty good investment. And any legislators that are sitting here that want to work on getting us back to that 2/3, 1/3 statutory requirement, we'd love that. And we do this by serving first-gen students. We do this by serving low-income students. We do this by serving the most diverse students in Minnesota. Our mission is not to take students from the 5th quintile, the top quintile, and keep them safely there. No, no, no. Our mission is to take students from the 1st quintile and the 2nd quintile and rise them up into the prosperity that Minnesota can offer them. Our mission is to take students and their families up, up, up toward that northern star. Our students largely come from Minnesota. Our graduates stay and work in Minnesota. I believe in what we do. My spouse, sitting here, this is Kelly, everybody, she's a graduate of our system. My daughter, Katie, who's standing over there, is a 2-time graduate of our system, as is her husband. And that baby that my daughter is holding is seriously interested in the carpentry program at Hennepin Tech. Believe she's very interested. Intrigued, I should say. So I really believe, and as was mentioned, I myself was a student once upon a time at Hennepin Tech. So we believe in what this system does because it's allowed our family to prosper. To my fellow Minnesotans, we stand ready. This amazing faculty, this amazing group of frontline workers, these amazing folks who have built all this, bring their best every day. I get to stand here and make speeches, but they do the work, world-class work. The board knows this, and the board is fully behind this future path for Minnesota State. To my Minnesota State colleagues, Minnesota has given us much. Just this past time, a historic investment in us. Historic investment in us. And Minnesota is looking on to us to deliver on Minnesota's hopes and dreams. That's the deal. They invest in us like they have, and what they ask in return is, keep Minnesota strong, keep Minnesota prosperous, lift us up to that northern star. It's a kind of a miracle that that star never changes. It's a kind of a miracle that the waters always change. Minnesota's been a miracle before, and it'll be a miracle again. A place that's constant through equity, through inclusion, through prosperity, through intergenerational wealth. For everyone. A place that's always changing, always improving. The Minnesota marvel. Alongside me here is a statement of our commitment to Minnesota, a pledge to raise private money to match the workforce development investment that Minnesota, the legislature, has made in Minnesota state colleges and universities. Let's pledge here and now, all of us, to raise the funds, $13.5 million, to match the investment that the legislature has made in us, to match it so that we continue to develop the strongest workforce in the nation and the world. Our awesome partners are committed. Our board is committed. Our campuses are committed. Let's showcase our collective commitment by signing on to Minnesota's future prosperity. Polaris beckons us. The rivers and the lakes invite us. Let's set our canoe in the water and follow that North Star to our destiny. It's our star, our water, our state, our future. Let's go. All right, who's up next? Joy, you got one? So what's happening now is anybody that wants to sign this thing, pledging to Minnesota's prosperity, come up and put your John Hancock on there. Thank you.